Hello, and welcome back to Wild Sanative. I'm grateful that you chose to spend a little time with me today. Thank you for being here. In our last episode, we reflected on the difference between survival and love. We talked about the many ways many of us were taught to be responsible, to achieve, provide, to stay strong, and to keep going. And we asked a tender question: what did love look like in my childhood? Today I want to continue that conversation by asking something just as important. Where do we learn about love? Because most of us were not handed a clear definition. We were not sat down and gently taught what healthy love feels like. Many of us learned about love by watching the people around us. We learned from the tone of voices in our homes, from the way conflict was handled, from the way affection was given or withheld, from the way apologies were offered or never offered. We learned from what was praised and what was punished. We learned from silence, from distance, from sacrifice, and from obligation, from the unspoken rules that shaped the emotional atmosphere of our childhood. And before we had words for love, our bodies were already learning it. We learned whether love felt warm or tense, whether love felt safe or unpredictable, whether love felt generous or conditional, whether love meant being seen or being useful. And some of us learned that love meant doing everything for everyone else. Some of us learned that love meant staying quiet to keep the peace. Some of us learned that love meant earning approval. Some of us learned that love meant being needed. And some of us learned that love came after accomplishment, after good behavior, after being strong enough, pleasant enough, successful enough. And because we were children, we did not know how to question what we were learning. We simply absorbed it. We adapted. We became what our environment required. If love came with criticism, we learned to expect criticism. If love came with emotional distance, we learned not to ask for too much. If love came with instability, we learned to stay alert. And if love came with pressure, we learned to perform. And if love was rarely spoken or shown, we may have learned to search for it in places that could never truly nourish us. That is why healing our relationships with love can feel so tender. We are not only changing an idea, we are changing a pattern our bodies may have carried for years. We are asking the heart to consider that love may be different from what we first knew. That love may be softer, kinder, more honest, more spacious, more respectful, more peaceful than what we were shown. And this is where compassion becomes so important, because our first teachers of love were often people who were still learning themselves. Our parents, grandparents, caregivers, family members, communities, cultures, religions, schools, relationships, the world around us. Many of them taught from what they knew. And what they knew may have been shaped by survival, fear, hardship, trauma, pressure, or emotional limitation. And that does not excuse harm, but it could help us understand that many patterns were passed down because no one stopped long enough to ask, is this really love? Or is this what fear has called love? That question can change everything. Because when we begin to ask it honestly, we begin to separate love from the things that have been attached to it. Love is not control. Love is not walking on eggshells. Love is not constant self-abandonment. Love is not proving your worth over and over again. Love is not being punished for having needs. Love is not being accepted only when you're easy to manage. Love is not silence to use as a weapon. Love is not fear dressed up as protection. And love is not staying where your spirit is slowly disappearing. Love in its healthier form makes room for truth. It allows kindness and accountability to exist together. It listens, it repairs, it respects boundaries. It does not require perfection, and it does not ask us to betray ourselves in order to belong. But if we do not grow up seeing that kind of love, we may have to learn it slowly. We may learn it through friendships that feel safe, through people who listen without making us feel small, through moments when someone respects our no, through relationships where repair happens after conflict, through the quiet experience of being accepted without performing. We may learn it through therapy, through prayer, through motherhood or fatherhood, through grief, through heartbreak, through being alone enough to hear our own heart again. We may learn it through nature, through the way the sun rises without asking us to earn its light, through the way the trees grow slowly and still belong, through the way the earth holds us without needing us to be perfect. And perhaps one of the deepest places we learn love is within ourselves. Not the kind of self-love that is loud or polished or easy to post about, but the kind that is quiet, the kind that shows up when we are hurting and chooses not to abandon us. The kind that says, I will speak to myself with more tenderness today. I will stop calling my needs a burden. I will stop measuring my worth by how useful I am. I will stop confusing exhaustion with devotion. And I will stop chasing love that requires me to disappear. And that is not always easy. Sometimes the old lessons are strong. Sometimes we know what love should be, but our bodies still reach for what feels familiar. Sometimes peace feels boring when we are used to chaos. Sometimes kindness feels suspicious when we are used to conditions. And sometimes being respected feels unfamiliar when we are used to earning our place. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes unfamiliar is the doorway into healing. Sometimes the love we need most will not feel dramatic. It will feel steady. It will feel honest, it will feel calm, and it will feel like room to breathe. And as we begin to recognize this, we become students of love again. Not students in a classroom, but students in daily life. We learn love in how we speak when we are frustrated. We learn love in how we listen when someone is hurting. We learn love in how we apologize. We learn love in how we set boundaries. We learn love in how we rest. And when we learn love in how we choose people as well, we learn in how we stop repeating what wounded us. We learn love in how we care for the parts of ourselves that were once overlooked. And little by little, love becomes less of a mystery and it becomes a practice, a choice, a way of seeing and a way of being. A return to what is honest, kind, and whole. And if today's conversation resonates with you, I invite you to spend a few quiet moments reflecting on these questions. Who taught me what love looked like? What did I learn from them? What parts of that lesson do I want to keep? And what parts am I ready to release? And you don't have to answer all at once. Just begin gently. Let the question open a little space, because sometimes healing begins when we realize what we learned was not the whole truth. It was only the beginning of our understanding, and we are allowed to keep learning. We are allowed to let love become healthier than what we inherited. We are allowed to become living examples of love we once needed. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time, be gentle with yourself and remember, we may learn about love from many places, but we are not bound to the first version we were taught. We can choose a love that is kinder, freer, more honest, and more whole. And with each choice, we return a little more deeply to ourselves. This is the path of wholeness.